Hello, and welcome to No Balls, No Problem, a women's hoops pod for fans new to this and fans true to this. I am your host, Steph G. Thank you so much for coming along with me on this journey once again. Guys, we're back. We've made it another week to talk about women's basketball. And I'm going to be honest, I don't have any new business to discuss, which is probably a good thing. So let's just get right into the hoops. Let's just get right into it. First things first, I want to talk about the Las Vegas Aces. They were handed their first loss last week. I think it was Thursday against the Connecticut Sun. And I'm going to keep it real with you, Chief. They got thumped. And if you ask me, I don't think there's much to it. Dewana Bonner got hot, a career high 41 hot. But overall, the Aces just didn't have it. If you were kind of looking at their schedule, they were on the road, again, playing the same team that they played the night before last. It was bound to happen sometime. They were going to lose. They were not going to go all season without taking any L's. And the way I look at it, at least it was against the second best team in the league. You're kind of supposed to lose to them. And which is funny to me, the best part about all of this is that Alexis Morris is still catching strays. And honestly, they're not even really strays. They are very direct shots at her. Dejanay Carrington said 41 points at 35 on 16 to 23. Hang it up. Yeah, it's funny because, girl, why did you even say anything about these people? Let's take a look at Alexis Morris right now. DeWanna Bonner dropped 40 on her birthday. Her being Alexis Morris. Sorry, girlie. It's okay. You were wrong. And everything's fine. And while we're on the topic of the Aces, we have been getting some high quality hug content. I'm a proponent of full-bodied hugs all the time. And the Aces and other teams, it's not just them, are giving us high-quality embraces. Look at this. Alicia Clark, Mercedes Russell, former teammates, just being happy that they're in each other's midst. I love it. More Seattle and Las Vegas hug content. We got some black girl joy here. Look at the smile on Chelsea Gray, giving a full-bodied embrace to Jewel Lloyd. I love it. And then giggles, because they were just having a ball, laughing it up. Additionally, I'm sorry, there's just so many good Aces hugs. They got a lot to be happy about over there, despite a loss from the Sun. Erica Wheeler and Kelsey Plum, they're dapping it up. Just happy to see each other. Again, more giggles, more smiles. We got to keep this in mind, guys. These people are playing a game, and they're very good at this game. And life's pretty good for them overall, and they're allowed to be happy people about it. And last on the Aces front, a sighting from a man named Jason Tatum, giving our girl, again, Chelsea Gray, a nice full-bodied hug. High quality hug content, guys, I'm telling you. Brittany Griner is back. I'm going to leave Jason Tatum on the screen a little longer just so you can take it in. I'm sorry, it's Pride Month. Get him off of here. No men. Additionally, moving along on the hug content, we're going to give you some Brittany Griner moments because I think we've already seen it happening. She's going to be in this hug content segment pretty regularly because everybody's just so happy to see her. For example, we got BG and my head coach, James Wade. Look at that smile. Look at both of those smiles. Who knows what he's showing her? Doesn't matter. But look at this. It's a good hug when those eyes are closed. Good squeeze. I love that for them. And lastly, on the Brittany Griner and this hug content train, Brittany Griner is just getting the love that she deserves. Baylor University of Baylor. I don't know those people like that. They're getting a BG patch on their jerseys, which I think is pretty cool. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the hugs and look at Coach Dade Collins' leg kicked out because it's a good one. And that's your hug content for the week. Thank you for coming. And to keep the positivity train chugging along, I want to talk about statement games. Stephanie, what, girl? What is a statement game? Well, okay. There's been, of course, a handful of players, mostly players that you wouldn't expect, some that you would, that have been showing out.
I'm about to show my ass.
And I want to talk about him. And who do I want to talk about first? Dana Evans from My Chicago Sky. Taraji P. Hinchman said Dana Evans cut a little different than a lot of y'all PGs. And coming from a Sky fan, she's right. She had 20 points, 6 assists, 3 steals, and an overtime win. Also see Thriller against the Fever. Come on. Indiana Fever, wide receiver, golden retriever, Justin Bieber, it still don't matter. Sky win, 108 to 103. And while on the topic of my Sky, if you heard that caption, we've been on fire on the social side of things. Super team, teenage dream, light the beam, Krispy Kreme, it don't matter. Sky win. Things are nice when you have a winning program, but when you talk loud, people talk back to you a little bit louder. So we lost against the Aces, we being the Chicago Sky. And what did they do? They took our flow bar for bar. Chi-Town, Nightgown, Nino Brown, merry-go-round, it don't matter. Aces win. The worst part about this tweet is the JK. If you're gonna clap back, don't be kidding. Don't play. Say it with your chest and mean it. I like a little spice in my life. Say it with your chest, Aces. I appreciated appreciated the reply. Continuing on to more statement games, I was compiling my rundown and I was like, well, of course Dana Evans is going to be there. And then I'm thinking, I need to figure out people who aren't on the Dallas Wings that had statement games, because so many players on the Dallas Wings had statement games. And then I said, well, I guess we just have to do a highlight on the Wings, because they've been doing things really well from my perspective. So we're gonna slide right into, okay, statement games. Done. Cool. Next, we're gonna talk about the team of the week. Ish. I say ish because it's been longer than a week that I'm reviewing these games and these notes. About a week and a half. Maybe 2. AKA ish. Anyway, they're singing a different tune down in Dallas, down in the DF Dub. They're 5-4, and while that does not sound like the craziest, the best record, it's not. It is the second best record in the West, and they are 5th overall in the entire league. If you ask me, I speak in third person, we're seeing tangible growth from this program. And I want to start with Satou, MNF, and Sabali. She's averaging 21.2 points through their 9 games. That's about 21 points, 22 on a good day. But 6 games in a row, she's had 15 points, 10 rebounds. That is production. And Bailey Caldwell's saying what we're all thinking, the sooner the Wings start treating Satou like their number 1 option over Arike, the better. And that is no shade to Arike Agumbawale, because she a baller. But Satou's production right now has been worth noticing. Case in point, Satou's your Western Conference Player of the Week. Proof's in the pudding. She's looking solid on both ends of her game. She's healthy and confident. I'm going to drop a link in the description because y'all need to watch her saying how she called this early in the season. Even head coach, whose name I figured out how to say, Latricia Trammell, sadly it's not Trammell, said it too. Satou claimed early in the season that she was coming with it, and she's been coming with it. Their first game against Phoenix on the 7th, she had 24 points. She took 3 hard fouls and got a nosebleed and a half from Sophie Cunningham. And if you look at this clip here, F her, is how we all feel about Sophie Cunningham. So shout out to Satou Sabali. She's been playing her tail off. She knows it. Her team knows it. And I think the league knows it. Most improved candidate, MVP candidate. I don't talk about those kind of things because my vibe is more eye test than stats. But she's hooping. And moving along, just a quick note, I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Veronica Burton, who looks more and more comfortable as their starting guard. Every game that I watch her play, she's obviously more of I don't know how obvious it is to you, it's obvious to me and people who have seen her play from college to today, but that she's more of a defensive-minded player but she's looking stronger on offense. She's looking more confident running and facilitating the offense alongside Arike and everybody else that's on the court. And her braids look good. I'm excited. I'm excited to see her growth continue. And speaking of guard play, let's chat about Crystal Dangerfield, whom, if you did not know, is jacked and additionally currently injured, which you hate to see it because she was playing quite productively in her first couple of games. She's been out for a minute. I think she's set to be out for a little longer. Ankle thing I think she's got going on. But the Wings are missing her. But in her place, her being Crystal, they've signed Odyssey Sims to a rest of the season contract, which, as Rebecca Lobo said on the broadcast Sunday versus the Liberty, Odyssey Sims is fitting right into place on this team. And somebody I follow on Twitter said, did we just forget she was in the league? Like, that she was available? Because the way she be getting cut don't really make much sense to me, because she deserves a spot on somebody's team. But I'm nobody's GM. Nobody's asking me those questions. Bink. But aside from Veronica Burton, Arike, and now you've got Odyssey Sims, you wouldn't believe it, but they're still playing shorthanded at the guard forward position. You got Diamond DeShields out indefinitely. You got Lou Lopez Seneschal out indefinitely. But you kind of can't tell because they're holding it down with the ones that they got, and that's the signs of a good program if you ask me. Speaking of new additions that have also been showing out, Kalani Brown, here to stay for the season, like Odyssey. And she's been coming with it. She had 17 points, 15 rebounds against the Mercury. They held Brittany Griner to, I think, 4 boards, they being the posts on the Dallas Wings. Who does that? Brittany Griner is the tallest lady in the world. That's not a fact, but could be. But Kalani just got there, and she's already producing like this. And this is without Tierra McCowan, who is overseas playing, I want to say, in the FIBA World Cup. I'm not really sure. But they're banging down low, too. And one last note about Kalani Brown. She need to drop a link to this tea, thick thighs and thin patience, because where to cop, which foreshadowing, but the Wings ain't been playing with it in the tunnel either. And then I want to talk about head coach Latricia Trammell, because I know how to say her name now. Honestly, and the entire staff, they've been bringing the heat on feet. Look at her. Bink. That's one. Let's get 2. Another moment. This was game 1. Bink came with it. And lastly, a full representation of the staff that she's got on hand. She came with it. Courtney Paris, Bink. Shout out to Courtney Paris. And then this lady, I don't know, they had an Indochino sponsorship moment. And I think that's pretty flat because look at them. They're looking good on the sidelines. And not only are the Dallas Wings head coaching staff, I suppose, stunting on the sidelines, but they're also, they being Latricia Trammell, stunting with that clipboard. She's got minutes for everybody where it counts. I mean, and utilizing the depth on her team, i.e. Jasmine Dickey. Shout out to Jasmine Dickey, who's been showing up, getting a handful of minutes every night, but coming in on the court and making a difference as their energy player off the bench. I love it because she's got those braids moving. Catch some Jasmine Dickey minutes if you're watching a Wings game. We've even gotten, which should be to nobody's surprise, a Maddie Seegers game too. She was given DT buckets. Caption. That's gonna go on her scrapbook. I mean, but it probably will be because you get buckets on DT. That's a bookmark moment. She had 14 points, 8 rebounds, shooting 6 for 9 from the field in 19 minutes in that game. We knew it was going to happen. It just happened, I think, a lot more sooner than we thought it was going to happen. Shout out to Maddie Seegers. Moving along, we're wrapping up on the Wings, but I would be remiss if I did not speak on Arike Ogunbowale. Arike, and the E is for efficiency. I think in their other game against the Mercury, she had 35 points, season high. 57 from the field, 41 from 3, and 5 assists. That's the Arike that we want to see because we know she can shoot. We know she can pass, but can she do it efficiently? And with a small sample size, she's kind of shown us that she can and will. I want to see consistency, but so far it's been exciting watching her and these wings play. And to wrap up on the wings and all, because all of this is great, but what really sealed the deal for me on this wings team is the fits. Satou knows. So does Arike. And I already showed you this Kalani Brown shirt. Like, they're giving us looks, big cozy girl energy. They know what works for them. Even Maddie giving us a little moment. Okay, rookie. Diamond to Shields, always gonna step. Who else we got? Satou. Again, Satou knows what works for her. I don't know what kind of realness this is giving because that's not my ministry, address, if you will. But she knows she looks good. So does everybody else. I love that for her. Continuing on, Awak Kuir. It's giving legs. It's giving chocolate. It's giving naturals, browns. We love. Maddie, I don't know if I love that one. Sorry, girl. I didn't mean to show that one. And lastly, Arike might be my Fits MVP candidate so far. I'm loving what I'm seeing. It's different. Yeah, it's different, but it works. It's something about it's working. Not all of them, because she don't always land a fit for me, but I'm liking what I'm seeing. They're stepping in accordance to one another. If they're like, hey, on the text, we're going cozy today, girls. They're going to show up cozy. Okay, on the text, we're giving red carpet glam. They're going to show up with red carpet glam. And that is the sign of a real, connected, growing, fashionable team. And that is why the Dallas Wings are my team of the week-ish. Pausing for a note of bias. Yes, they're my regional team of choice. But I want to say, guys, how much did I talk about this guy? Barely any. And there's so many games that I could have talked about. I could have gave you power rankings. I could have gave you this. I could have gave you that. But you know what I gave? The team that I think is doing really well and needs a little praise. All right? They might not be the best. They're not the worst. And sometimes we just need a little encouragement. Maybe this is a message for myself. Anyway, go Wings. Pony up. I don't know if they say that, but consider it. And in closing, I want to discuss a few games that I think we should watch together as a family. Tuesday the 13th, we got a couple matchups coming our way. Washington versus Indy, Atlanta versus New York, Seattle versus Phoenix. I will be tuned into Seattle versus Phoenix, 9 p.m. Central on CBS Sports Network. Those items aren't really as important as why I'll be watching. I think this will be a good one because Seattle and Phoenix are bottom half of the standing type teams and don't have many statement wins, if you will. And I think both of these teams have something to prove to show that they can get the wins where it counts, especially against teams that are in the bottom half of the standings. So I'll be locked into that one. And then we've got something on Thursday the 15th that I'll be looking at, Atlanta versus Connecticut. I think that's going to be a fun one. Atlanta, again, not a team with a lot of wins yet, but solid talent. And they, even last season, they start winning games that they're not supposed to, and they're not supposed to beat the Sun. So I think they might beat the Sun. Picture that logic, right? And lastly, I'll just talk to you about Friday. And if you want to watch games on Saturday and Sunday, that's your prerogative. But Friday has been fun for me for these Ion matchups because, as my friend Marissa said, I'd be in the house on Friday nights. And it kind of works out that I get to watch women's hoops while I'm at the house on Friday nights. So we got Phoenix versus Washington, 7 p.m., and Minnesota versus LA. I'll be really inclined to see the result of Minnesota versus LA because the Sparks have been giving up big leads this season and taking their foot off the gas. So I think it's going to be important for them to get this win against the Lynx because, like other teams mentioned, the Lynx are a bottom half team and the Sparks have Neko Gumuke. You shouldn't be fumbling at the 1 yard line, Sparks. They didn't against my Sky, but that's neither here nor there. So that'll be a fun one to watch. And then Sunday's also a big day for hoops, but that's your choice, your ministry. We won't talk about those. But for the rest of the week coming up, prior to the weekend, those are the games I will be tuned in for. And maybe you'll watch them too. And maybe we can have a good time watching basketball together, but separately. Separate but equal. You get it. And that being said, that's this week's episode, guys. I know the setup was a little bit different, but I kind of liked it. I kind of like just highlighting one team. Maybe we'll do that moving forward. Maybe we won't. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. But either way, I hope you guys continue listening, watching, engaging. Staying connected with me, with women's basketball. It doesn't even have to be with me. Just go watch some hoops this week. Make that your test this week. Pass the test. Go watch some women's hoops. And that being said, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of No Balls, No Problem. I'm going to keep saying it until I'm blue in the face, but I really do appreciate you guys. I really do. I hope you guys have a prosperous remaining week. Do something that makes you happy. Do something that brings you joy. Because I did this. It makes me happy. You might not be able to tell, but it makes me happy. Because life's too short to do the things that you don't enjoy. That said, I will talk to you guys next time. Have a great week. Bring back the Comets. Do something nice for somebody. Okay, bye. 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 Bye.